My name is Stefan Knecht from Bones AG in Switzerland. This is the transcript of the presentation I held in May 2018 in Berlin at the Digital Publishing Summit Europe. Our company deals with the Milestone concept. What is a milestone? The milestone is a hardware device, an audio device, which is mostly used by the visually impaired and the blind. It has 5 keys to operate and it is of credit card size. It is very useful in daily business like playing back books, making audio notes, manage time like in an agenda or an alarm clock, and it has an FM radio. Also, optionally, a color reader can be attached to it, as well as a barcode label reader, and it can be used to play games with the application script of Lua programming language. In the close future, we add Wi-Fi to it, as well as Bluetooth. We split this presentation into 2 main parts. One, there is the tech part, which shows our solution to the resource gap to playback EPUB books. And second, the presentation covers an outlook how to make a player talk more natural. So please stay awake during the tech part. So coming to the resource gap we just mentioned before. Our unit has virtually no memory, no processing power, and we are not placed on the shoulder of a giant like working on Linux or Windows CE, having access to huge libraries and a fully fledged operating system. But obviously we managed to somehow play back EPUB books fluently. This is an example of an EPUB 3 book being played back.
Tous ceux qui avaient accepté les bracelets verts et roses. Eux, ils avaient préféré se cacher dans une détente restée debout, qui sentait le plastique brûler et se soulevait sous les coups de vent.
Our solution is divide and conquer. This means we only want to extract the relevant information out of the book code of the EPUB book. Relevant in this context means what is really needed to be played back in our, let's say, limited device. Limited in a way that we do not have a display, so we do not need videos, for instance. So we run through the whole book code at the very beginning when the book is started first time, and according to the desired spine of the book, we pick all relevant content, we take out, we extract what is actually relevant to us. This mostly means skip a lot of things which are not needed, and put the rest into a small file which we call the meta text. The meta text describes the anticipated flow through the book, which will be later played back. It is human readable, but at the same time very well machine readable. This means it contains one item at one line describing playback this text from this file from here to there and then from there to here, and it can be easily searched backward and forward to ease parsing by a machine, but as well by the human eye. What is pretty special when extracting this meta text file, we work with a state machine that contains a set of rules how an EPUB book or a DAISY 202 book or DAISY 3 or whatever book is defined. This means there is a certain order in the HTML commands in each file that has to be followed, and we start cracking all these files based on these state machine rules. The tremendous advantage of this approach is once we have the meta file, we don't have to know anymore what the source of the book was. We don't care if it was an EPUB book or a DAISY book or an Audible book or an encrypted NLS book. We just take what we have in this meta file and play it. This goes to the second part of the player software, which is the universal player software, which doesn't care anymore about the original sources at the very beginning. OPF file from an EPUB book. there is usually a part of metadata in the OPF. Afterwards there is a manifest, and afterwards there is the spine defining things. And within these three mentioned things there is sub-things, like in the metadata there is an EPUB title, there is a creator, and so on and so forth. And we extract these things, we follow all these rules. So I need to have a title, it's mandatory, I need to have this and that, and we put together, based on that, the meta file. Advantages for this approach are: we have a tremendous reduction of complexity at runtime. We split the playback part from the analysis part. Secondly, we have flexibility for additional features of formats without growing in complexity. If there is an additional format coming, we just put an additional set of rules. For example, when we finished with the EPUB implementation, we added DAISY 202, and it took us actually one day of work, and we had the complete DAISY software ready because we only had to add the set of rules to read an ncc.html file. A third reason for this approach is we find problems in a book before playing it back, because books on this world sometimes eventually have mistakes, errors, format errors, which are not straightforward to solve, and it's much more easy to solve these issues at the very beginning while going linearly through the whole book from start to finish, instead of dealing with it while we are already in heavy navigation, like in the backward jump of chapter, in a bookmark search and all that stuff. If one has to do error dealing all the time on the fly, this is much more complex, instead of just doing it at the very beginning when we run through the book from A to Z. Now to part 2 of the presentation, make the book reader talk more natural. There is one golden rule in order to do so: orient yourself at the solution for the sighted. For the sighted people, there is the advantage that many things are noted in the text in a written way that are easily understood on the fly while reading a thing. For example, italic text. If a word is written italic, it means some sort of a stress in speech. It's something particularly marked. The same applies to bold written text. Let's make an example.
Beim Balken hereintragen zerbrachen Sie das Fenster. Sie hätten ja auch das Fenster öffnen können. Das wird Sie teuer zu stehen kommen, sagte er. Sie bestätigte: Mit Sicherheit.
In this example, the word öffnen is written italic because it has to be stressed particularly. Now, if we transform this information, if we take this information and put it to the text-to-speech synthesis, we can do something with the italic text, like, okay, we increase the pitch from 100% to 109, we speed down the playback speed to 65% because we want to stress it a bit more, we make a bit more vibration, we make a voice shaping to 105%, it's not much, but it makes a difference. So hear this.
Sie hätten ja auch das Fenster öffnen können.
And feel the difference. Here are 3 examples. First is the sentence just without any italic written word. Second one is with the italic word öffnen. And the third one is with the italic Fenster instead of öffnen. It gives a different meaning actually. Also, we change the narrator voice. So, the first sentence, like beim Balken hereintragen, we take a standard speaker. Then secondly, Sie hätten ja auch das Fenster öffnen können, we take a female. And thirdly, the word mit Sicherheit, we take a male voice.
Sie hätten ja auch das Fenster öffnen können. Sie hätten ja auch das Fenster öffnen können. Sie hätten ja auch das Fenster öffnen können.
Beim Balken hereintragen zerbrachen Sie das Fenster.
Sie hätten ja auch das Fenster öffnen können. Das wird Sie teuer zu stehen kommen.
Mit Sicherheit.
So this is a call to the publishers and the authors. Do put this information, this voice information or style or emotional information, gender information into the book in an electronic way. It's so easy to make something with the information, with the text-to-speech synthesis. We have the capabilities even on simple devices like ours. We just need to have the data how this shall be interpreted, like male, female, a child, an old person, young person, an angry person. It could be whispered, etc. After this example with intonation, let's take some more things under consideration. Firstly, there is the bullet readout problem. Bullet points often are read badly because people sometimes do not put a sentence declaration behind them, like a comma or a semicolon or just a simple dot, whatever. And then many TTS systems just read over the bullet and go immediately to the next one. Our unit makes a short vibration impulse after each bullet point, so people know, oops, this was a bullet, as if the sighted see this bullet. Secondly, how about footnotes or internet links? If there is a footnote, then usually it is marked in brackets, 1, 2, 3, whatever, and the sighted reader just runs over it. It is not, he or she is not stopped crossing such a footnote. And the same shall apply for our solution. Therefore, we just add a slight warm beep while reading back the text without interrupting the TTS playing back. So our reader knows, there is a footnote. If I want, I can stop now and enter the footnote, like looking what it consists of and giving me detailed information. Or the same applies to any link. If I want, I could examine the link, I could follow the link and do whatever on the internet with it. Thirdly, there are tables. Tables sometimes are complex and give detailed information, so many readers, they just jump over tables and immediately follow the text, the flow text, and carry on, and maybe later back enter a table for details. Therefore, we also give back a tone. In this case, it's a slight double tone, so people know, it's a table, and if I want, I could pause, left arrow, and then enter the table, and then navigate within the table for details if I want, but I don't have to. That was it. That is our project that we are doing, and we want to release this actually in this summer, to have it in a stable, fully fledged release. Just some remarks on the side. Why do we still do the whole thing? Why do we still make this Milestone device since 2003, when the whole thing started? People told me, don't do it. It will all be integrated into smartphones or whatever device. You'll be dead before you start. Well, I started 15 years ago. And we need to ask our customers why we still sell the device. In fact, in 2017, we had the second best company year since 2003, and we find our customers, they like dedicated hardware. Dedicated hardware is something efficient. For instance, you at home, you could operate your TV with a smartphone in most of the cases, but you don't do it because it's more efficient, it's more easy. Just grab the remote control and press the button there. It's easily accessible and it does not block your other device. Secondly, we have a partial technical advantage. Our battery runtime is pretty long, like we play back 25 to 35 hours with one battery charge, and also we have a standby time of weeks or months. Also we have physical memory cards, which people like a lot. We also ship physical memory cards, like libraries for the blind. Some of them ship physical memory cards to customers because it's something natural for them to receive something like a book, something physical, and put it into the device, press one button, and there goes the book. Also, we have a partial marketing advantage because we are slow. We control our own adoption speed. It's not good to be fast sometimes because people don't like, or the market does not like, if you keep changing things all the time. We have the Veteran Association in the United States, which told us once, please do not change the feature set of your voice recorder, because we have training modules based on that. We have manuals and stuff. We have a small infrastructure in place to teach people, and if you change the operation, if you think you go an advanced way, then we have to adapt the whole thing. So please do not change. So we control our own adoption speed, unlike the consumer market. Being independent is a marketing advantage here. Thank you for your attention, and feel free to put any questions you might have to info@bones.ch. Bones is like bones, BONES.ch. Thank you.